It's the middle of October and it's a beautiful time to be out in the forest. Unfortunately, we're approaching the end of mushroom season, but it's still nice and relatively warm here in Denmark, which means that you can still get lucky, just like I did. I managed to find a couple of these gorgeous porcini mushrooms, or as they called here, Karl Johan mushrooms. So we're gonna take those, cook them very simply, and we're gonna turn them into the most delicious mushroom toast that you can imagine. First things first, let's prep the mushrooms. As you can see, the underside of the cap has turned slightly yellow, but that's to be expected. I picked those 2 days ago, but the flesh is still nice and firm, so that's not a problem. It's also picked up some leaves, so I'm just gonna get rid of those, and I'm gonna use my paring knife to peel off anything that's stuck. This is where a brush really comes in handy, but I don't have one, so I'm just gonna have to do it with the knife. And if there's any small bits left, I don't care. It's just part of the experience. As you can see, this one's a little older, but the flesh is still nice and firm, so it's all good. It's gonna be delicious either way. So I'm gonna start with this one, and I'm gonna cut off the stem first. Oh, there's a little hitchhiker here. Off with you, sir. Out the window you go. Go find your friends. Now, I'm gonna transfer these straight into the pan, but we'll talk about why in a minute. For this guy, I have slightly different plans. I'm gonna cut along each side of the stem so I can flatten it out. And I'm left with this middle flat piece that I'm just gonna cook on the pan like a steak. I'm gonna have that alongside the toast. And these two parts, I'm gonna slice up and cook with the rest. Now here comes the curveball. I'm gonna cook these in water, and I'll tell you why exactly. As we all know, the mushroom is like a sponge. If I throw it on the pan with a bunch of oil, it's just gonna absorb it all. Adding the cream after, it's not gonna give it much chance to interact with the mushrooms, and we're gonna end up with a sauce that tastes more or less just like cream. Instead, I'm gonna essentially braise these, reduce the liquid, intensifying the flavor in the process, and creating a very concentrated mushroom stock that's gonna be the base for the sauce, which the cream is just gonna add body to. This has been bubbling away for about 20 minutes, and I don't know if you can see, but the liquid has not only reduced, but has also thickened a little bit. And that's because there's natural starches in the mushrooms that we've extracted. We're getting close, and there's a couple of things I wanna add to this before the cream. So I'm gonna prep these now. First of which is a clove of garlic, which I'm gonna give a fine dice. And of course, we can't cook mushrooms without some fresh thyme. So I'm gonna pick some leaves from that. Not too much, because thyme is a strong herb, and I don't wanna overwhelm the mushrooms. It's all about the porcini. Into the mushrooms they go. Along with a big pinch of salt and some fresh cracked black pepper. It's time to add the cream. Just a splash, because again, it's all about the mushrooms and I don't want to cover that flavor. And in the meantime, we can address the toast part of the mushroom toast. I've got a beautiful sourdough loaf here that I'm gonna cut a nice big slice of. I'm gonna hit it with some olive oil and then throw it in the oven under the broiler to get some color. Meanwhile, the mushrooms look like they're ready. The sauce is thickened beautifully, it's coating the back of a spoon. This is crazy town, okay? Our toast is ready, it's nice and crusty so it can hold its own against the creamy sauce. The only thing left is to cook this guy. I'm gonna cook that in my carbon steel pan, which is preheating, and all I'm gonna do is throw some butter in there. I'm not gonna salt it yet because I don't want the soap pulling out that water before it's cooked. Now I'm gonna hit it with some flaky sea salt. I'm gonna get rid of any butter that might have burnt on the pan before adding some fresh butter along with a sprig of thyme and some crushed garlic. I'm literally treating this like a steak. Okay, it's time to put this thing together. I'm gonna finish this with just a little bit of parm, and I'm gonna top it up with a little bit of watercress. I think the pepperiness of the watercress provides a perfect contrast to the rich creamy mushroom sauce. And then I'm gonna lay down the mushroom steak next to it just to remind us of what exactly we're having. Can't wait anymore, I'm so excited. Let's dig in. Whoa, wild porcini, creamy sauce, sourdough. The beauty is in the simplicity. Let's try the steak. It's rich, creamy, savory, pungent. The porcinis are just left, right and center, and that's exactly how it should be. Honestly, if you like mushrooms, it doesn't get any better than this. It's a delicious reason to go out for a walk in the woods. Go get yourself some mushrooms. Roll out!